Hello, I'm Chris Ely and I'm going to show you basic instructions on how to iron a shirt simply using an ironing board, a towel, a water spray when needed and a steam iron. In this case I've got a hand towel, any towel will do as long as it's a terry cloth. Is to turn the shirt so that the buttons face the cloth. Then what we're going to do is we're going to iron the buttons into the towel. It's very quick and simple. As you can see, the button impressions, the buttons sink in, which straightens the cloth, which means you can just iron straight across. Another advantage to this is you're not messing too much with the rubbing away too much on the button threads, which will eventually wear out. And that's the quick and easy way to get that flat. The first thing we want to do is every garment, unless somebody's cut it out of course, is going to have a label. This one is 100% cotton cloth, and here we have the care instructions, the wash and various other symbols. We'll put this on pretty easy to read. European shirts can sometimes have a whole sheet of instructions. Americans, it usually just says very simply, wash warm or cold, dry, low or high, and then it'll give the universal symbol, which is the iron with 3 dots. This corresponds to the 3 dots on the iron. So you go from 1 dot to 2 dot to 3 dots. The advantage of having clothes that are in the 3 dots is an iron like this, an all-in-one iron, that you'll produce more steam at higher temperatures. And then of course, it's where they usually tag your spare buttons. So 3, the iron corresponds to 3, you shouldn't scorch. Shirts are scorched when you continually keep working at a high temperature at the same area. Or there's something on the cloth like laundry residue, detergent residue, or even if you're using starch. Usually those will scorch. I've never really actually scorched a piece of cloth because I keep the iron moving, and so anyway, that's your instruction manual for the shirt, as it were. Collars, there are all different types, and we'll go through all the different types in further videos. This is a casual shirt. It's a soft cotton shirt. It doesn't have any bones, any collar stays in it. We always want to work inwards on a collar. Out of steam. Inwards from the edges to the middle. The trouble with using a long stroke on a collar is you will keep gathering the cloth, which is right here, and eventually that will fold over and you'll end up with a crease down here, probably on either side. You'll get that when you send a lot of shirts out to the laundry. You want to avoid that at all possibility, because the collar is the main part of the shirt that most people will see. So that's why we bring the cloth in rather than pushing all the way from one end and gathering up the excess cloth, and that'll give you a nice finish at the front of the collar. Next we're going to do the yoke, both sides. Going to position the cloth, always feeling with the fingers to make sure nothing's caught underneath. I'm going to straighten out the pleat. Straighten here, and then we're just going to iron this nice and flat. Then we're going to go to the cuffs. There's two ways of doing a cuff. Number one, if you have enough of a point of the iron, you can actually do the cuff this way. I'm not going to get too much with this. Another episode will show a sleeve press. And so on. This will straighten out that area. And this enables you to straighten out all the buttons and the placket. Again, don't rub the iron over the top of the buttons. It's going to scratch it. This part we don't want to iron, so we're going to make sure it's over the edge of the ironing board. Come in here, and that's done. Now the other way, this is quite a thin shirt, so sometimes you won't have to iron both sides. The other way to iron the cuff is to do it from this direction, just from the inside, working the iron around the cuff, going as deep as we can without catching any parts we can't see. Keep going around, and that's the placket, and that's the cuff. Now we're going to do the sleeve. We have the seam running along here. We're going to use that as our line. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use our fingertips to feel what's underneath, or we can have a quick look. So we're going to straighten the sleeve so that when we press down, we're not going to cause any crease marks on the other side. Now we're going to go along and form a crease here, but we're not going to touch the outer part of the shirt quite yet. This is because you're doing with 2 layers of cloth, and we want to make sure before we put that crease in that everything's laying flat. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold the cuff between my fingers, and then I'm not with full pressure of the iron, I'm just going to use the steam along here. Then I'm going to turn it over. Now, some people don't like a crease in their shirts, so we can use a sleeve press, or in another edition I'll show you how to do that without a sleeve press. Come here, we're at the bottom, we'll work to the top, work into the top, lift in the iron a little bit here because we don't want to crease what's underneath. And now we're going to put the crease in. Push away, push away. I'm going to flip it over and check again. Take the steam off. This will dry the fabric. And again, not fully pressurized here. We don't want to cause an imprint or a crease on the other side. And there's your sleeve. I'm going to put the shirt here first of all. I just want to make sure we got a nice clean line around here. Push that. This shirt has a pocket, so see the placket is still, because it's a thin shirt, it's still well pressed from the beginning. Now, pockets. What you want to do is just be careful you don't keep dragging the cloth over and put a crease like this in there. I'm going to take that out. So we'll do both sides, working our way in. Make sure it's all smoothed out, flatten that. Make sure the little crocodile's flat. So that is the buttonhole side. Here's another seam. We're going to carry on up into here. we're going to do this in two halves. We're going to do this side of the seam. And we're going to come and do this side. I'm going to straighten out the bottom of the shirt. Put the cable over that side so it's not going to mess up what I've already ironed. You go up there. There's the spare buttons and the label under here. Make sure that's nice and flat. I just want to get to the top here, and I want to sort out this. We want to make sure both sides are even, so we're going to take note of how long that is. And I'm going to pull the shirt taut, and then I'm just going to iron straight down that pleat. Shirt over. Smooth that down. I'm going to catch the back of the yoke, and we're going to come on the inside of where the yoke joins the back of the cloth. Keep pulling a little bit, just pull it in to the shape you want it, put the iron on it. Yeah. Check the length of that crease. It's going to come out the same. Into here. Straight down. Now we're at the other armpit. Not going to be too aggressive with the shirt, especially where we've ironed it, because we don't want to put creases in. Now we're going to come this side of the seam. Don't worry about the top of the seam. So that's the back completed. And what I usually do is I come back over here because I want to get from the yoke through to the collars to the top of the buttons. Usually put that into shape, gently tugging the seam straight. Then at the top, just below the top button, I'm going to come this side of the button, nice and straight. Now, should be a clear run to home. So we're going to come back to the seam. We're going to pull that out, pull that straight, iron, straighten. I'm going to get those. I'm going to finish the arm off, the seam around the arm. Push, push, push. Straighten that, straighten that. Now, just going to finish off the buttons. Just come the other side. Just gently pulling on the top button area. should be a lot. Now, I don't iron collars flat. I let them roll. Now some shirts, especially if you're going to leave it open, this might rise too much. So what you're going to basically do, if you want to hold it down a bit more, is just touch the ends. But as I say, most shirts, especially when I'm going to be using the top button, I don't do this on. Make sure that's on the fold. Gently touch the button. Now that it's finished, I'm going to put it on a wooden hanger. I wouldn't dare put it on a wire hanger, otherwise I'll get a lot of comments. Top button. Sometimes 2 buttons. And there's your shirt, nicely ironed.